Hey up, Meta here. Before this episode begins, I just want to quickly say that I was sick when I recorded this, so if you hear any coughing or sniffling, that is me. I was sick. I had a cold. Sorry. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the meta64 podcast. This is a podcast where I interview creators about the creative process, who they are, what they do, and why they do it. And today I am delighted to have I believe 19-year-old Josh StoryPainter. He is a Minecraft creator who mainly makes content centered around roleplay videos in the game Minecraft, and he also hosts a myriad of SMPs and projects on his own and has a sizable following of theorists and fans who enjoy just the ambiguity of a lot of his content. So I'm very happy to have you here, Josh. Thank you for agreeing to come on today.
Thank you so much. Also, I'm 20, not 19.
I thought you were 19. That's what it
This is a great start already.
Yeah, thanks, Josh.
You're welcome. I thought I would be like the grammar police and be like, actually, it's 20.
Oh my god. Man, like it's very nice to have you. I am very excited because with you, you have varying opinions on different parts of the Minecraft community. So I'm happy to have you because I feel like you have a lot to say.
Yeah, I do. Quite a bit.
Oh hell yeah! Right, let's get some boring questions out of the way so we can get into the more juicy ones. Why do you make content, Josh?
Well, when I started actually making my channel a while back, I went for like 3 years not knowing what I was doing. And I didn't get monetization back at the time. But I originally started doing stop motion, Lego stop motion in particular. And then I started moving into more like gaming content. Eventually landed on kind of a mixture of the both because I always wanted to tell a story, and I also love the gaming videos. So I was like, why don't I combine them? And now we're here with Minecraft roleplay. Back when I started the channel, I was like, if I could make one person smile with my videos, then it's kind of worth it at the end of the day. Despite you know there is ads that come with content and stuff like that, but if you can make someone's day better, then I infinitely think that's so much more.
Mm. So I agree with that in like full honesty. I do enjoy the aftermath of the content. The oh, this person came up to me, DM me, and was like, "Damn, Josh, that new video you put out was really fucking cool. Made me really think." That type of shit makes you happy.
Oh, absolutely. And like one of the things that I never expected when I went into it was the amount of people that would theorize about the content that, the community that we have is so much more different compared to like other creators.
Mm.
Ours is very tight knit. You meet up with people, you're instantly, included with that community. And just seeing people try to like piece together the story as well as the story behind it all is incredibly satisfying to see.
Oh, it's great. All right, on the topic, you were talking about how you mainly wanted to mix the gaming videos with storytelling. Why do storytelling? What about storytelling in videos appeal to you so much that you decided that that would be the main focus of your channel?
Well, it was more of the sake of I've always wanted to share my stories with others, and for me doing YouTube, it was very difficult for me to find a niche that worked for me because I have a different way that I record stuff and whatnot. I'm not the best at say like Minecraft PvP. That never really appealed to me, but I've always liked to write stories since I was a young guy. And this like goes all the way back to almost like 11, 12 years ago where I was making some of this stuff already. And to finally put that into use that many years later, it's just fun. And ultimately, it is just fun at the end of the day to make a story, keep people on the edge of their seats and everything.
Okay. All right. So, on another topic, why tell stories in Minecraft? Why not tell them in a different medium, like through animation and or something like Gmod? Why Minecraft?
Well, Gmod's kind of overdone. Um, there's like a quality to it that um, makes it feel less than what it is, in my opinion. Gmod, I found, is more of a game that you fool around in, and not to mention, it's kind of like very much past its time. Minecraft, there's a lot more you can put into it, especially with the mods and whatnot. Like anything that you want to make, you can create. whereas other games are very restrictive on that process. Minecraft, if you need a prop, you just go in game, you get your builders to work on it, you send it off, and you're all set. Compared to something like Gmod, where you actually have to learn the base software to try and even get those props working. And when we're looking at animation-wise, animation costs an incredible amount, as well as it's not, for me, it wouldn't be sustainable money-wise as well as consistency-wise. And the way I'm very perfectionist. If I constantly tried to iron out all the details when it came to animation, as well as I'd have to learn it, I don't think I would be able to make the content that I would want.
So, basically, you're telling stories in Minecraft A because it's the simplest, B because it'd be much harder to do it in other formats. Am I hearing that correctly?
It's simpler to make it in Minecraft. Like there's certain mods that are a lot more challenging that you have to learn, but I think for me the main reason is the resourcefulness that you can get from the game, the
Mm.
mods, the look of it, and how much you can do with it as well. Using it as a medium, I believe, is unparalleled to any other game or anything like that.
Yeah, I get that. Right. So those are all the boring questions out of the way. Let's get to something more interesting.
All right.
You brought up that you had a team, and as someone with connections to multiple parts of your team, hi Ghosty says boo. I know you. What made you choose the people on your team? Why get a team to begin with?
Well, to make anything, you have to have a team that's going to work on stuff. Like trying to make the level of roleplay that we do would be next to impossible to have one or even three people try to accomplish. There's many moving parts that you don't consider until you jump into it. You have your voice actors, that if you're wanting more characters, you have to have voice actors. You have to have body actors that will be in the background that are moving around, interacting with their environment. You have your skin artists if you're going to make HD skins, or even just regular Minecraft skins, you have to have that. You have artists, you have the Minecraft builders themselves that make the props. You can even get into like the editing portion of it if you wanted to get an editor. So like there's a lot of moving parts in order to make one series possible. For example, one of our series that we made, Remnant, which was an original series that we made, it took about 6 months of planning to get it accomplished, and that is quite a bit.
I
So
can attest. Yeah, it takes a long time to get projects like that done. I feel the pain through your voice, through the wire, because I've been in the same position as you with a 6 month long project, dude. Ah,
exactly. And when it comes to like choosing people for like more of your first question, I choose people based on, we go through an actual interview process for each person that's wanting to join. And one of the questions that we always ask one of our interviewees is, hey, we're trying to inspire others with the content that we make, the story that we make. Why do you feel like you would be a good fit for the team, and why should we accept your application?
mm,
And there's like a vibe that all of us will get. I'll usually get like the board of directors or my admins to basically go in and we'll listen in and everything. And if they have the good vibes that they all check out, we do quite a bit of an extensive like look into who we bring in. That's when we accept people. But we're looking for people that are creative, that think like us, that want to constantly push what can be done in this game and how we can make that a great experience for our viewers.
mm. Okay, so topic. All right, tell me, how do you make a full video for Maine? Like, describe the process of making a full video for the TheStoryPainter. Let's just say new episode of Remnant has to be made soon. You're planning that out. I'm assuming you already are, knowing you. So, walk me through the process of making something like that.
Okay, so I'll take, as of like today, this podcast recorded, we actually did a Remnant episode. So if we put aside all the pre-planning, so the builds, all of that,
Hmm.
so we basically started for the episode we started last night, where we created the script, which was like a baseline for the episode. There's two types of videos, by the way. One you have improv, the other you have machinima. But for each video, we try to have a script so that people can follow along with that are actors. So you have to write out the script. Then you have to prepare anything for that episode, rather it be additional builds, placing down NPCs, kind of having like a layout of where everyone needs to go. And that's even before you even get into the recording session, because you also have to plan to make sure everyone's going to be there when you need them. And then when we get to that point where we're going to start recording once everyone's in the video. We press record, we record it. It usually takes about an hour per episode to get those episodes done. And then you're looking at least an hour and a half of editing, 45 minutes for the thumbnail, and like those are like the base times to get it done. So for one episode of Remnant, you're looking at almost 4 or even 5 hours plus of work to get that one episode made.
Man,
Almost every day.
You are much more efficient than I ever can consider. God damn. Like, it takes me a solid, like, week to finish a full, like, 5-minute video. Bubby, like, bro.
And we're doing 20-minute episodes almost every day.
No shot.
We literally today, we recorded 2 videos. We were going to record 3, but we were missing a few actors for that extra episode. And first 2 episodes will be uploaded Monday, Tuesday. Then we record on Wednesday again. So we usually do Wednesday and Saturdays for recordings. And then we'll do Thursday, Friday, and just keep on that cycle. As well as you have Twitch streams that happen in the evening. And so it gets pretty chaotic, pretty busy.
Oh my god. Right. You brought up Twitch. I had a couple questions about that actually.
Sure.
Why streaming? Why did you start doing that? Was it to cultivate a new community, or was it to create content where there were gaps in the upload schedule at YouTube? I know I did that because I wanted to be able to satiate the gaps in my upload schedule because I don't upload frequently. That's also why the podcast exists. So is that one of your reasons why?
I just liked interacting with my audience, to be perfectly honest. Like, we, back in the day when we were running, we still do FNAF content, like Minecraft FNAF content, but not as, like, prominent anymore. Back in the day, we would go on a server, we would all stream, and essentially we'd have, like, 100+ people that would be watching at a time. And it's nice to interact with the community because then they get to see you actively participating. It's like a moment for them where they can say, hey, this is my content creator. I can go interact with them. I just like interacting with the chat. I read off what they have to say, rather it's their thoughts for the episodes, questions that they have, because I know at the end of the day, that's going to mean the world to them, me reading their chat. So it's a fun time for me to interact with my community at like a live scale, not just through a pre-recorded video, and then them also having a fun time with whatever the content is.
Nice. So, as someone who's joined you on these types of streams, do you feel like the fast-paced nature of lore streams suits you and your acting style? Does it benefit the people you work with on your roleplay videos for YouTube? Does it like feel right to be doing lore streams with the people you do your normal machinimas and improv role plays on YouTube?
Well, yeah, because like I'm most comfortable with them, right? Like I would feel more comfortable doing a stream with people I know than people I don't know. And they know how I work with my voice acting. I know how they operate with theirs. So it's this type of energy that you can essentially synchronize with, and the product is going to be better at the end of the day. Like I know all the people I brought in as voice actors know how to voice act, and they're going to make a convincing story in that stream.
I can attest that is your lore streams are fun. I did have a good time when we did one. I think like a couple days ago. That was a good time. Thank you for having me on that one.
No worries.
Wow. Right. So I believe at the beginning when we first started talking about why you created, you brought up how much you enjoyed how tight knit your fan base is. Do you enjoy the theorizing you've cultivated through your fan base as a result?
Oh, absolutely. Seeing people try to piece together a story and then only having maybe like 1% of what's actually going on is incredibly entertaining. And feeding them information, kind of like just like them finding stuff, is incredibly rewarding because you understand like they are starting to learn, they are starting to get it. And again, just seeing them come to those moments, especially like when you start giving them information later throughout the series when stuff begins to start making more sense. Because I don't just run like a regular story, I run ARG stuff alongside of it. So then it comes to realization where they're going to hear something, they're going to see someone, and then that immediately clicks, and they're going to be like, wait a second, this is now completely different because of this. And it's so awesome to see.
It's so cool. Like ARGs are really fun, I feel,
Mm-hmm.
because like I don't know. What I have interacted with your fan base a little bit before. I am friends with one of I think one of your main theorists, Cabbage. They are really nice to me. And I really enjoyed my interactions with them and your overall fan base. I will confess I was actually about to go into your Discord while hopefully you weren't looking and ask them if they had any questions they wanted to ask you. So
Okay.
like
No
I feel like I
worries.
would have done that, but whatever. Your fan base is very nice to me, I will say. So I'm happy that you're proud of those guys. Right.
Oh, absolutely.
So you're a big man. You're a big man of many projects, from events to SMPs and all over the place and stuff like that. How do you come up with these ideas? Where do you get them from?
Honestly, I think of stuff, rather it's me just doing random like chores or me in the shower, and it's just like, well, damn, wouldn't this be a cool thing to do? Like literally, what was it? Earthbound SMP. I was like, hey yo, there's no servers that are running an Earth SMP right now.
Hmm.
People are wanting it. I've always wanted to do a server like that. Why don't I just go for it? And that's literally the entire aspect behind that server.
We only exist because you thought, wow, I really want to do a nurse server. That's based. That's based actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Do you feel pride in the projects you produce? Like, I feel like this probably is an obvious question to ask you, but
Oh, absolutely. All my projects are like, how do I put it? I put all my all into projects because I want them to succeed, and I want the people that are partaking in them to enjoy it too. So all the projects that I make, regardless even if some of them are scuffed, it's like one of those things that you live and learn from, and you just work on it even more from there.
yeah, right. So before I got you on, I was thinking, I was thinking, who would I want to get on the podcast? And I'm like, oh yeah, Josh. And then I remembered something. You already have a podcast, the Josh Show, where you talk about current events happening inside of a streamer community that you happen to reside in.
Yep,
What prompted you to do that?
the podcast.
Yeah, the podcast.
Well, it's because originally the podcast started as a little bit more on reporting on issues that were happening in the community. I did commentary videos for a while until I just kind of got burnt out of them and I didn't feel like doing them anymore. So I wanted to switch to a format that I could just essentially hit live and just like jump straight into it. And when it came to the Josh Show podcast, the first run of it, it was mainly um, what was it, going towards and debunking a lot of people when it came to what they were doing. So, for example, there was a bunch of situations, rather it be with SMPs or if it was like actual problematic people that existed in the community, they would essentially, a lot of them would use their platform, abuse it, and people would not be heard. And I wanted to be that neutral ground to take a look at everything, being like, hey, this is what's happening. I'll give my take on it, and let's sort out this situation from there. And that was been the groundwork of that podcast. Now I don't really. I will go into certain issues that are happening. Like the other day, I did tackle Baplause YT and what he's been saying around, because to me, I would much rather keep my integrity of speaking against stuff like that than completely avoiding it altogether.
Interesting point of view for that one. All right. So next, I sorry, dude, I'm
No
having a
worries.
sore throat for the past week. Do you have any plans to expand the Story Painter channel beyond just Minecraft roleplays? Do you have anything else you want to do on main, or do you want to keep it in the same space?
So, um, for the main channel, it's going to stay as Minecraft roleplay. We already have 2 series, almost 4 series that we have planned after Remnant and stuff like that. And we're already in the planning stages of that. But I also am expanding my content a little bit more to. I have a second channel called Josho, and I'm going to be doing a little bit more just general gaming content over there, doing stuff that I feel like and people can enjoy, and going from there, see where it takes me.
Right. Okay, so here are some questions that I thought were a bit personal. I was originally going to talk a bit more about money, but I thought that was a bit too personal towards you, and I just cut them out entirely. I might ask them towards you for Patreon content if you're okay with that. But
Yeah, I don't mind.
yeah, I'll ask.
If you
Okay,
don't die first.
yeah, I'll cut that. I'll probably cut that out in the actual podcast. Who knows? So you are a full-time YouTuber and streamer.
Yes.
Why was that massive risk? Was that a huge risk for you to take there?
Well, for me, it's something I think I can do. Like when I mean full time is that like yeah, I make content and I make streams full time, but I also like go into other stuff. Like right now, I'm studying computer science because at the end of the day, I know there's a risk that it doesn't work out, and I want to make sure I have a backup plan at the end of it. But for me, especially with the way that life's kind of going right now, with the rise of price and stuff like that, like I still live at home, um, and I wanted to give the whole thing a shot. Like right now, it's sustainable, and I want to give it a try and see like, hey, if I devote my time into this, will this result in something in the end? And it's more of a gamble of will it work or won't it, right?
Yeah.
And especially this year, I'm giving it this year to see where it leads me. And if it takes off, it does. If it doesn't, then it's whatever. I already know where I'm wanting to go with it, and if that doesn't work, that's okay too.
It is a humongous gamble, though. Like when I heard you do it, I was a bit confused. I thought, like, usually when I think of people who go full time, I usually think of people who already have a stable enough base. Did you have you had a stable enough base before you went full time, right?
I did. What was it? Because like right now on YouTube, I'm almost hitting about 18,000 subscribers, as
Mm-hmm.
well as on Twitch and all my other channels. I mean, soon my VODs channel will be up for monetization and stuff like that. So that's another area of revenue.
Mm-hmm.
But as long as it's sustainable, that I'm able to save at the end of the day, save some money, and then put it aside, you know, it's worth it for me. Because like where I'm at, it's very far. I'm very far away from a lot of stuff, and again, for me, it's like I'm going to take the risk because you only live once, and I'd rather take the opportunity, take the risk, being like, at least I tried, compared to if I went in life and regretted it.
I yeah, I kind of get that. I just know if I was you, if I was in your shoes, I probably would have waited. But I'm not you, and I'll never understand how. I don't think I'll ever like get into the same position as you. I think you're in an extremely lucky position, to be frank.
Well, for me, what was it when I started like actually like accelerating in people watching my content? This was back when I was doing my first season of FNAF. I was actually uploading videos daily,
Mm.
and I was one of the more faster channels, at least in my niche market, that was growing at that point, because I would be getting, several thousands of subscribers almost every month. And then when I started slowing down and I was having, I had my own job and stuff like that, that completely died.
Mhm.
And my, like, the growth of the channel basically was continuing throughout, um, what was it, through 2019, 2020. And then 2021 is when I moved up to my new home. And due to internet problems, it was getting a little bit more difficult. And then I recently started a different job where I could almost only upload once a week. And I noticed that that was completely killing everything I did. So when the opportunity arose that I decided to leave my job just due to personal reasons and other issues that were coming up with it, I was like, I could go out, work a minimum wage job, and, you know, not do stuff that I would be proud of. Or I can be in the position of, let's see where this takes me. There's a lot of people I know that are doing it. Let's just try it out.
Damn, all right, you got some really interesting reasons for that. Right.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit more about content now. How do you feel about the current state of Minecraft content in 2022 as we're ending it now? Do you feel like Minecraft content is in a good space right now?
I don't think it's in a good space at all. I've noticed that even for my content, I saw views have been really declining. Um, Not in the sense that like our quality's changed or anything like that, but I think particularly Minecraft roleplay is getting to a point where people aren't wanting it anymore. There's still a place for it for sure, but I think we're getting to a point where the market is saturated with, hey, let's have a dozen of things on screen. You know, let's just go with that. I feel like Minecraft roleplay is getting to the point where a lot of the channels it's becoming unsustainable because everyone wants to see the bigger and better, right? Like I think content such as lifesteal is going to continue and stuff like that, but definitely with Dream SMP stuff going away, I think Minecraft is slowly starting to go back into that irrelevant age during 2018-ish.
Mm.
And I think it will be just a matter of time where it's going to, die out for a while and then come 2 or 3 years later, it's come back. I just think right now nobody's really making creative content in the sense of everyone's kind of following the trends. Um, and there are people excluded from that list. Like I think watching how Lifesteal's done their stuff is very ingenious. But even
Mm.
just like the TikTok Minecraft trends and stuff like that isn't going to last forever because once again you're taking advantage of just a current trend, and there's going to be a point where people are going to find that exhausting because unfortunately there isn't a lot of substance to it. I found.
Okay, so I feel like in that last part there, you were kind of talking more general Minecraft content, and that was the topic of the next question I'm going to ask. Because personally, for me, like late 2021, early 2022, I thought that modern Minecraft SMP content and Minecraft content in general was somewhat stagnant. I feel like
Yeah.
my point of view was mainly towards streamers and I guess TikTokers. Do you still feel like that's the case now, or do you feel like we're in another golden age, kind of with like the rise of lifesteal and the people on it and stuff like that?
Uh, I would disagree because
Mm.
I feel like people these days, like again, I would exclude at Lifesteal SMP because I think they make incredibly good content. Um, but I think we're at a point where people can anyone can get a gold play button just by doing the bare minimum, in my opinion.
Mm.
Um, and it's great that the algorithm is now being more appealing to everyone instead of just one, the occasional creator. But I think the content itself is becoming very stale, and I don't feel that same amount of creativity that we once had. Like back in the day, you would have people that they'd have to work and come up with new ideas that were going to work. I mean, great examples were a lot of the Lucky Block content that like Sunday did. And even then, it was still following a trend, but it still felt something a little bit more creative. I think my biggest example is Afmao, who made a full, like, arguably at least visually stunning, the best Minecraft role plays to this day, and then switched for the trend. And I've seen a lot of Afmao fans that are really disgusted. It's like, this used to be my favorite content creator that she completely sold out. So to me, I just think that something does need to change. I think there needs to be more creativity, and I don't know if we're going to see that, unfortunately.
Do you feel like the updates that Minecraft has provided have also played a role in that? Do you feel like the stagnation of Minecraft updates, which has happened again, which I've unfortunately noticed, has caused that?
Yeah, so Minecraft has completely shot themselves in the foot by introducing the bannable thing, like where you can report a player in game and it can completely ban your game.
Hmm.
Um, and that is one of the most troubling things I've ever seen come out of that game because anyone can report their favorite creator, just even for a troll or even taking something out of complete context, and you can get your game banned. And I've noticed a lot of people aren't switching to the newest versions unless they're doing just single player. Nobody's wanting to switch to the new versions because anyone can get their Minecraft banned. And also, there's just in my opinion, there's a breach of privacy, I think, is to be known here. So I just don't think it's going to really work out. And I think there's going to be a point where it's not going to work.
All right, we're gonna transition into the ending part here. These are the conclude. I don't have any questions to ask in the conclusion, but they are still interesting questions nonetheless. How far do you expect to go with the whole story painter thing?
Beg pardon, sorry?
How far do you want to go with the story painter? How far do you expect to go with your channel?
Um, I think there is a point, at least for the main channel, not so much like the second channel I'm making right now. I think there is a point with the main channel it's going to be like, the story's done. And something I've always taught my audience with my stories, rather, it's been my FNAF series, Remnant, any of my series that I've ever made, is that things are very temporary. Um, all of it has to do with, the thing I'm trying to teach my audience is the fact that like change will happen, and you have to savor like what is in the now and move forward with it. For me, I know the point where it's like I've had enough and I'm going to end the story, but I don't think that's now or any case in a long while. But for me, I'm going to keep doing it until personally for me, I feel like the story's done.
So in that case, the story being done would be retirement, right?
No.
Do you
For
have any?
me, if
Sorry.
it came down to 3 years from now and the main channel story, I felt like I was at a point that all my characters that I've made are in a point where, that needs to be concluded, then I would think I would end the channel with it.
Huh. Okay, so you're like trying to avoid the whole. Damn, Josh really did this stretch this thing out for as long as possible. You're trying to avoid that.
Yeah. Because I don't like, for me, I value the integrity of a good story. I would rather end the channel on the best note it possibly can be than try to squeeze a bunch of money out of it for the sake of getting a bunch of money out.
Yeah, yeah, I get that because I don't feel like as someone who's on Earthbound, I don't feel like Earthbound would feel the same if we kept going like beyond the lore we're planning after the other thing we're planning for very soon. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it publicly yet.
Not yet.
Soon.
See, even like with Earthbound, right? Like for me, as of right now, I don't know when you're uploading, but as of right now, September 10th, for me, it feels like the server's about three-fourths done.
Hmm.
And that's okay. Like it's run for almost 3 months now, and a lot of people have enjoyed it, and I'm surprised. Like the amount of activity we have on it, people still come on to say hello. People come still play. They make content. So it's like it's not a bad thing when it does come to a close, but you also want to look towards the future. Like what do you want? What do I want to do after this? So that's how I see it. Again, for me, I think there's a mentality that maybe some should take to home is, nothing lasts forever, so make it the best you can.
Right. Um, this is the final question I think I'm gonna ask, and you kind of semi answered it, but is YouTube something you want to do for as long as humanly possible, or are you gonna eventually, you know, set the hat down, push your chair back from your desk, and just go do something else with your life?
I think there will be a point, and again, I think for me it's, you know, when I feel like it's enough, when I've done everything I want to do, and I'll end it, right? Like I have a plans. Like for me, I want to, something that is a passion of mine is I want to write books. And if it came down to it that YouTube was interfering with that, I'd have to very greatly consider if I'd want to cut that back. But, I'll keep going for as long as I think that I want to. Um, and kind of just leave it there. I'll leave it up to the future.
The future is really cool to think about. Right. So, a lot of new creators, I believe, listen to this podcast. A good amount of people who I don't think I've ever, who have ever interacted with me, actually asked to come on the podcast. So, to end off this episode, for people who are like you, who like to write and want to tell stories, is there anything you'd suggest to them?
Um, Keep working at it because ultimately a good writer comes with a lot of practice. And the biggest thing is don't give up. Um, when you receive criticism, take it, put it to heart. What else can you do to make that better? Um, but there is a point also that I also want to explain is that even if you get one person to read your writing, and if they thoroughly enjoy it, you've won. You don't have to have thousands of people write like read your writing, right? That'd be great, but even if it's a small handful that genuinely enjoy it, then believe me when I say it is the most fulfilling thing you could do.
It is genuinely something that will hopefully push you to become more than you'll ever be. All right, with that said, that's it. Thank you very much, Josh, for
No
agreeing to
worries.
come on. If you'd like to quickly do some self promo, the floor is yours.
Sure. So I've got a lot of self promo. I'm sorry for
It's
everyone
fine.
that's I'm about to, insult your ears, but I've got my main channel, The Story Painter. I have a second channel just called Josho, Josho. I have the Story Painter VODs, so that's where I upload all my streams and all that. As well as I have Twitch at the Story Painter. And then I think the last thing I'd promote is besides my Twitter at the Story Painter, but also check out Earthbound SMP because it's a great SMP, and everyone there has been absolutely lovely. So I highly recommend.
Right. And of course, I have been your host, meta64 at youtube.com/meta64 was taken. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. It's definitely a step up from the last one. I feel like I'm better at my eloquence this time. So, have a good rest of your afternoon, and I will see you probably next Sunday.